Excel tutorial, histogram. Data Analysis Tools package consists of Microsoft Excel add-in for statistical and engineering analysis. This topic is part of Excel for Data Analysis Basic to Expert Level course. Feel free to take a look at course curriculum by clicking link at description box below. This tutorial has an educational and informational purpose and doesn't constitute any type of forecasting, business, trading, or investment advice. Please read full tutorial disclaimer at the end of this video. Histogram analysis tool consists of absolute frequency and cumulative relative frequency data and display output from range of cells and optional bins input. Great. So let's go into the Excel file so that we can study histogram with greater detail. Excellent. So here we are within the Excel file named histogram. So what we'll perform is a histogram of SPY adjusted arithmetic returns. So first we have two columns of data. At column B we have dates and at column C we have SPY adjusted. Notice that dates are with a daily frequency from the beginning of 2007, so we select B4 and then press Ctrl down arrow on the keyboard, which goes all the way to the end of 2015, therefore 9 years of data. So we press Ctrl up arrow, down arrow to go into the beginning of the column. Then we have SPY adjusted. SPY corresponds to the ETF investment vehicle, which intends to replicate the Standard & Poor's 500 index, and adjusted because this includes adjusted close prices, which were adjusted for dividends and splits. And then we have the daily arithmetic returns. Notice that the first observation here at D4 has a green color background. The reason for this is that we need at least 2 observations for the calculation of the first arithmetic return. Notice here that for that corresponding D4 cell, we included that arithmetic return as a 0%. This is an assumption which is included for educational purposes as an example, therefore it is not fixed and it can be modified according to your needs. So from D5 onwards, we see the calculation as follows. Within the formula bar, it's equal to C5, which is current day SPY adjusted close price, divided by C4, which is previous day's SPY adjusted close price, and that result minus 1. If we select D6 here, we see that it's equal to C6, which is current day SPY adjusted close price, divided by C5, which is previous day's SPY adjusted close price, that result minus 1, and so on for the rest of the column. So as mentioned, we're going to do the calculation of the histogram for these arithmetic returns. So previously to recording this video tutorial, I already did the calculation, which we find here from columns F to column H. First we have the bins, and we can see the corresponding bins. This one are calculated automatically within Excel, and if we select here F4, we see that it goes from minus 9.84, and we press Ctrl down arrow all the way into 14% and then more. So we press Ctrl up arrow, down arrow. And then we have here the corresponding absolute frequency, number of observations or arithmetic returns at each of those bins. And then we have the cumulative relative frequency or cumulative percentage we see here, and as we can see by selecting H4, and if we press Ctrl down arrow, it goes from 0.04% all the way into 100%. So we press Ctrl up arrow, down arrow, and last we observe the corresponding chart here. This chart is the chart for the histogram. So we have 2 vertical axes. The first of this is the frequency, that's the absolute frequency, and then we have those percentage which with the cumulative relative frequency. On the horizontal axis, as we can see here, we have those bins, and by looking at the legend on the right, we see colored in blue the corresponding bars with the absolute frequency or the number of observations, number of arithmetic returns at each of those bins, and then colored in red here this line with the cumulative relative frequency or that cumulative percentage. So let's go ahead and replicate this. So we're going to scroll to the left here, and what we're going to do next is we're going to add or insert 3 new columns. So we select column I here, click the right button on the mouse and insert 1, 2, and 3. There we are. So we're going to paste the corresponding histogram here. To do the histogram, we go into the Data tab, and then here within Analyze, we click on Data Analysis. So this will open the data analysis tool pack, and we have the corresponding analysis tools. So we select histogram, click OK. And then the input range, as we can see here, it's going to be those arithmetic returns. So we select D3, then down arrow. So we are at D4 and we press Ctrl Shift down arrow. So we select the full column of data. We go back here, bin range. In this case, we'll do the automatic bins for this histogram. We can also supply here a custom bin range. We don't check labels, and the output range here is going to be at I3, which is the first of the new columns we just created. So we go back here and we check here to have cumulative percentage and the chart output, and we click OK. Excellent. So here we select I3 again and press down arrow. So notice here, this is exactly the same result as we have here. Let's go ahead and format it. So we're going to select this from F3 to H3 and then scroll down. And once we arrive at more, go into the Home tab, copy its format, and we paste it. So we select from I3 to K3 and then all the way down into more. There we are, and then we are going to scroll to the beginning. There we are, and then to the right. So as we can see here, we have exactly the same results as the ones we have to the left. First, the beans calculated automatically by Excel. Then we have frequency, that's the absolute frequency or the number of observations, number of arithmetic returns at each of those beans. And then we have the cumulative percentage or the cumulative relative frequency here. So going to the right, here we have the original chart, and then we have the new one being created right on top. So what we're going to do is we're going to move it to the right, and we're going to zoom out so we can see both of them together, all the way to 100%, and we're going to make it larger size. There we are. So in order to have the same format as the one we have to the left, first we're going to format the title. So we're going to select the title here and make its font size to size 8. Also for the legend at the vertical axis, so we select it, and here at size 8, and also for the bean here, the legend for the horizontal axis, we select it here and to size 8. And the last step is we are going to modify the cumulative percentage time series here. So we select it first, then we click the right button on the mouse, so we format the data series. And as we can see, it's on the secondary axis, but what we're going to do is we're going to remove the markers. So here we select that icon there, the marker options to none, and we close it. Excellent. So again, we have exactly the same chart as we have here with the histogram. Two vertical axes. The one to the left is the one with the absolute frequency. The one to the right is with the cumulative percentage or the cumulative relative frequency. On the horizontal axis, the corresponding beans. Blue color bars, this one's right here, which is the absolute frequency or the number of observations at each of those beans, number of arithmetic returns at each of those beans, and the red colored line here, data series, which is the cumulative percentage or the cumulative relative frequency. Excellent. So now that we finished studying histogram, let's go back into the slides. And as mentioned previously, this tutorial has an educational and informational purpose and doesn't constitute any type of forecasting, business, trading, or investment advice. Please pause the video now so you can read the full tutorial disclaimer. Okay, so with this, we finished this tutorial. Thank you for watching.